few days ago, I was watching Cat Kerr over on the Gel Press YouTube channel, and she was doing some collage techniques on her plate that I had never seen before. I don't know if maybe it's already out there and I just don't know about it. I'm not sure, but it was new and exciting for me, so I gave it a try. And as with most photo transfer techniques, it was hit and miss. And I had a lot of miss, let me tell you. There is a little bit of trial and error involved in getting a good photo transfer. And then even once you figure out, just the right combination of things, it's still, I find, iffy. So yeah, you have to be willing to mess up a lot. Whatever image you use, once you've used it, even if it messes up, that's it. That image is gone. Can't use it again. So you just kind of have to make peace with that. And if you've been hoarding images for decades like I have, this is a really good way to go through some. Use them up. And these were just super fun. I had a lot of fun putting things together. Now on the video, which I encourage you to go watch because Kat explains everything and gets a lot better results than I do, but she uses like several magazine images, including text, which was really hit or miss for me, a lot. I had a hard time with that one. But, I like this one. I had this image. These bottles, you will see a lot of wine and liquor bottles in mine because that's what I tend to cut out. I really hate fussy cutting, and they're super easy to cut out. So anytime I see a bottle of any kind, oh baby, I'm cutting it out. And I'll either use it or I'll make the little bottle dolls out of them or whatever. Anyway, that's the reason why there's just a lot of bottles in my pieces. But I had her, I had the bottles, and then this heart was from a magazine. I did some rubber stamping, and then the text. I will show you how this was a total accident that happened. And I'll show you what I did to get that. So for the collage, and I've been doing it a little bit different than Kat just because I wasn't getting good results like she was. I don't have her magic touch. So I've got this Wine Spectator magazine, which is very large, and you can get it for free. I will put the link down below because I can't remember off the top of my head what the name of the site is. But yeah, you can get lots of magazines for free. That's where I get all mine. And I like to go through and see this one. It's got good contrast, and not just between the background and the image. You have to keep in mind that the image itself needs to have good contrast outside the background. So see, this one's fairly good. It's got the light letters, it's got this dark, it's got this light. So this is probably gonna print halfway decent. Fingers crossed, because yeah, you never know. I've been using a lot of text, random text. I've got a pile of text back there. See, this just looks fabulous, for like a whole page, and this would print beautifully. But see, this is kind of dark, and this is kind of dark. They're going to blend together. Same color. That's going to blend together. This image is probably not going to transfer well, even though as a whole it looks great. But I'm afraid the bottle is going to get lost in the background, and the glasses will too. So even though it's yummy, I would not use it as a focal point print, but as a background, yes. So I'm gonna set that aside. And you'll understand what I'm talking about here in a few minutes when I'm saying, text and backgrounds. They have some of the best ads. This one, see the glass, all of this down here is going to kind of blend together because there's just not a lot of contrast in the colors, not a lot of light, dark. Now this up against here would be good, up against here, not so much. So like this part of the image where it's got this thing and then this light part, I think this would print really well. This down here I have my doubts. Let's do an experiment and see, because I think that is probably one of the big issues in having successful transfers is choosing the right images. And I think a lot of people get frustrated and think, oh, they can't do it. And it might be image selection, but that's not the only thing that matters. It has a lot to do with the kind of paint you use, your plate, your brayer, the humidity and heat, probably the barometric pressure, and whether or not Mercury is in retrograde. I'm pretty sure all of these things factor into a decent photo transfer on your gel plate. Lots of variables. But I'm gonna show you what I do, which works now more often than not, which, you know, like I did this a couple years ago maybe. I'll link to that video. And I got pretty good results with that. So when I got my plate out again and started doing this, I thought, oh, I've done this before, you know, no big deal. I had to relearn the whole thing. I had to watch my own silly video all over again. I had to watch Cat Kerr's video 2 or 3 times and then actually listen, you know, to what she was saying. And then still, I went through probably half a ream of paper and, you know, before I figured it out. This is one of the things where, unfortunately, I find that better quality paints do give better results. Yes, you can use craft paints. You can use them well. But it might be a bit of a struggle to figure out just exactly how much to use, how thick to put it on, all of that. You want it just where it covers the plate, and you can almost see through the paint to the plate, but not quite. You want to lay your image down, and then you want to pretty quickly pull it right back up. See, that printed beautifully, like we were expecting. Oh, this did actually pretty well. Ooh, this is a surprise. That printed nicely. And I really think it's because I use, and this is not like high quality paint, it's just Liquitex Basics, but it is better results than I was getting with, let me get it, Anita's all-purpose craft acrylic. And I can get a pretty good print with Anita. I get better results with better paint. So there you have it. I say use what you've got. Don't rush out and buy anything until you use what you've got and listen to my tips, Cat Kerr's tips, and everyone else's tips. And then, you know, just put together your own process. So this went really well. And this is really not an example of what Cat did. You know what? This is exciting because this looks really good. But we're going to go for it anyway because let's start with the basics of getting a hopefully decent print. So this looks good. Again, better paint makes for better pulls. I don't have a lot of good paint. I've got a few. Like anything I've paid more than $1 for fits in this little box, which is a small portion of all the paint that I have. And this is not like the best paint ever, but it's like maybe just one step above craft paint. I just am not going to pay $20 for a tube of paint unless I was like selling my stuff. Then I would do it. But this is my hobby. I do for fun, right? And I got better things to spend that 20 bucks on than one tube of paint. So I'm a craft paint girl. And I'll do some with craft paint too, just to show you it is possible and you can get good results. Now, spread it out even. You can add more colors if you want. I tend to run into trouble because I can't get them brayered out even. My brayer has nicks in it. My plate has divots in it. And these are all going to affect your pull. And again, the amount of paint for your color or your pulling paint that you put on top of your print that transferred, you can use a little bit more paint for that one, but you still want it fairly thin. And you can leave the paper on longer here when you're laying your magazine image down. And I think it's pretty much just magazine images or laser prints that work on this for this technique. I don't have any laser prints, so I just use magazine images. And when you're laying those down, you want a wham bam thank you ma'am. Just get it down, smooth it out, peel it up. And if your base coat of black paint was nice and thin and, you know, just the right amount, then you're going to get a good print most of the time. I just can't guarantee what's going to make an excellent print and what's not, because this one I did not think would print well, and it's like freaking perfect. Go figure. Look how well that did. Crystal clear, detail. Gosh, this would just make a beautiful base for more collage, or add more paint colors, you know, go in and kind of fill in detail. These pages you can use in your art journals, in your junk journals, in your mixed media projects. You can tear them up, use them for collage. Just think of them as kind of collage fodder, basically. You know, images that you can make a whole page out of it. I think that's what I'm going to do. I might like just make an artist book out of them. That's just something you can flip through and have fun with, and you know, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm having too much fun doing them to worry about what I'm going to make out of them later. I just can't be bothered with that. I really can't. Not at this point. So this one, this background is, you know, it's blurry on purpose, so even if it transfers, it's going to be blurry, which is fine, but I'm hoping that this comes out nicely. And this is where I kind of deviate from Cat Kerr's technique, because she would like take this image and put it down and tear out something else and put all of these different things down on her plate after she's painted it up. And my problem is when I do that, I fuss too much and I waste too much time, and if you leave that image down on your plate too long, you're going to peel it up with nothing. You know, it baked too long. That's it. So I found that what I like to do, and especially because I've got this magazine that has some really cool images, full page images, I like to just collage a few things on here and lay the whole thing down together. So, like, I can put this girl, if you fussy cut them, they look better. I hate fussy cutting, so mine are just like, they're going to have this weird shadow around them, and I don't care. So that's where I am with that. And look, yeah, she goes perfect there. And instead of laying this on the plate and then laying this on top and not really being able to see what I'm doing, I just glue her down. Just, you know, a little bit of glue just to hold her in place, so that I can flip this page over and glue it down. Yes, I like that. So now she won't move around too much. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just leave this blank, and we'll fill it in with some of what I saw Cat do, okay? So I'm gonna get my plate. And my black paint, just a little bit. Brayer it on so that it covers my plate, and I can almost see the plate through the paint, but not quite. Try to get it smooth, or you'll get brayer lines in your transfer, and pretty much all of my transfers have brayer lines. Now I'm going to lay this down, just like that. Press it Not too hard. Cat did, you know, remind us that you can distort your image if you go pressing too hard. So just rub it down and then check and see. Yes. Now I gotta hurry up and get her off of there, because if the background's done, she's done too. Oh yeah. Okay. Yep, see, we had good contrast here, so that printed well, but the see-through glass on the background, not so much. So now here's what we could do. We can go in, and Cat showed, let me find a little image to put somewhere so that I can demonstrate. And once, you know, I've pulled, that's the end of that, I just use that for a brayer off page. Now, I've got my little folder of bottles and glass. So let me see if I can find maybe a little wine bottle or something to put in that empty space. I've got perfume bottles too. I've got liquor bottles. I've got glasses of wine. Got a lot of tequila in here. A lot of tequila. Okay, here's this one. That's not bad. This is kind of dark. This is kind of dark. But you know, I've been getting surprising results, so let's try it. Now, what you do is you just add a little more transfer medium. Doesn't take much. Smooth it out. I don't know how far that's going to go up. Lay it down. Now you can put another piece of paper on top to kind of help this out. If you do, you want to be careful, because if that paper touches anything that's already transferred, it's going to lift it. So I just try to gently rub like that. Fair. I think we got the bottle shape more than anything else. Now if you want to go in and clean up a little bit around it, you can with just use a baby wipe or something. I honestly normally wouldn't even bother. No. Okay. Another thing that you can do is rubber stamp. So I've pulled me some stamps, and y'all know mine are mostly vintage. And I'm going to go in and right here, I think it needs a butterfly. Cat used butterflies. I'm really good at copying what other people do. Especially lately, I've just been watching videos and doing what everyone else does. So if you make a video and have a cool idea, I'm going to be stealing your idea. I just want you to know that. But on the upside, I will link back to your channel. I promise you that. And I will tell everyone that I got the idea from you. So yes, I'm a polite idea thief. I'm just using this little plate as a kind of a palette so that I can ink up or paint up my butterfly. Put a little paint on there and then stamp it down. And there we go. I like it. Okay. Wipe your stamp off when you do that. You don't want acrylic paint to dry on your stamp. It won't hurt the rubber, but if it dries in the crevices, it can affect the quality of the imprint that you get. Okay, so I got that. Stamping. Don't use stamps with words and phrases on your plate. Words, numbers, they will, when you pull the print, they'll be backwards. Okay, this looks good. I think we should pull it. And let's try, should we try 2 colors? I'm telling you, not good at it. That pink gives me fits, so I'm not using it. Let's use this pink. This is a craft paint. This is a, oh, it's got a booger. Okay, I don't have time for that. Use that one. And then here is a Deco Art Media Fluid Acrylic Turquoise. I don't know how much I need. We'll figure it out. Okay. Alright, now let's see what happens. Okay. And there we have it. That's not too bad. It's fun, it's collagey. Now if I want to, I can go in and add some stamps. I feel like I want these swirlies. And you can use paint or ink. So I'm going in after the fact. I just want some, I think I just want some ink. And it would really be nice if I could reach it. Got it, got it, got it. And you can use color if you want, but I'm just going to use some black permanent ink and go in and add a little background. A little background fun. And there you go. I have to admit, this is the second time that I have filmed this. I filmed yesterday. I had 3 hours of footage, and 90% of it was me saying, well, you know, it's not as good as I wanted it to be, but it's alright, we can make this work. And okay, sometimes they don't come out great, but you know, you just make the best of it. And things like, well, I think I probably had too much paint on the plate on this one. It was just constant. One after another. It was 3 hours of me failing. And if there had been more successes in there, I would have left it. Because, you know, I want y'all to see that, yeah, failing happens. It's part of it. But there was almost nothing. Almost nothing worthy of showing you. So this is take 2. Because, yeah, I had 3 hours of pretty much this and me trying to convince myself that it wasn't that bad when it really was. Sometimes it is. It is what it is. Alright. Dry her off. Especially her face. Because anytime you're going to get like a narfed up part, you know, your print doesn't transfer just right, or your paint gunks up, it's going to be on the face. It will be on the one important focal image on your transfer. It's just a Murphy's Law thing. Alright, now let's get enough paint on there to cover without pulling our image up. Much better, much better. And you can see that our music sheet printed beautifully in the background. And then she came out very, very well. So that is a successful pull. And again, if I had a better brayer and better plate, you know, I could eliminate some of these lines, but I'm not going to let it bother me. If you want a perfect reproduction, you make a photocopy, right? Transferring never gives you a perfect reproduction, and that's the fun of it to me. I've been, on occasion, I will pull, you know, like this I thought might print pretty well. It's got some decent contrast. And then she's just kind of fabulous, right? And she was a separate image, and I just took a glue stick and stuck her on there. This is easier for me than trying to, you know, position her and then lay this down just right to get it all where I want. And then, you know, it's backwards because here she's on the right, but you have to put her on the left side of the plate, and that just bakes my noodle. So, little glue stick, put her where she goes, and then print. So let's try this. Okay. I can do this all in one fell swoop. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut around the bottles, kind of, sort of. So we've got this, and then I can take some of the pages from my magazine that are just text, like that. Honestly, I don't care what the text says. It doesn't have to be something really profound or poetry, or, you know, from a classic novel. I don't care. I'm just all about there being words in the background. So I can use something like this. Let's put our little bit of black paint on there. And then our chosen images, which mine are hooked together. They can be separate. You can just lay several down, lay them down kind of all at the same time, kind of fast, because you want them to all be ready to pull up at the same time. And then my text. And I learned this accidentally because I was just using a scrap paper to, you know, kind of press down my images, and I lifted it up and there were words. It doesn't take long for them to transfer. And you can just rip this to shreds because you can't use these images again anyway. And there, oh, see? Always on the face. Anytime there's a little mess up, always on the face. That just cracks me up. So there's what we've got. Now, we want that to dry off. And I'm going to pull this one with white paint, and I'm going to use my cheap craft paint because my good white paint has gotten so thick, and I don't want it to pull my image off while I'm trying to brayer it down. Oh, and of course this one has snot wads. Don't look if this grosses you out. It's gross to me, but kind of oddly satisfying too. So there's that. And yeah, oh, it's a good one. Oh, it scared me. Okay, we had a blowout. That's all right. Here we go. I like to pull with white when I'm just not sure what I'm going to do with the print, and you know, maybe I don't want it colored yet. Clean those off. These are like my designated paint booger puller tweezers. Pretty much all I use them for. Oh, I had coffee. I forgot about my coffee. And there we have it. Those wine bottles printed a lot better than I thought they would. And she's just got the weirdness on her face, because that's always where the flaws end up. Look at the detail on the bottles, though. I really didn't expect it to come out that well. This was like I did a one. There was a full page of Julia Child. Where is she? There she is. She printed pretty well. I mean, you can see even the little lines around her eyes. I mean, overall, I'd say the print, the transfer is kind of so-so, but then there are sections of it that were just super detailed. And that's usually when I pull with white is when, you know, those details really show up. So that, I think, is all I have to show you. Should we do one more just for fun? How long have I been rambling on here? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think I've been rambling quite a bit. All right, so let's revisit what we did. We pulled with white a couple times, and we did some music paper on our background. We did a collage, and we pulled a full sheet that came out surprisingly well, even though we were worried about the contrast down here. So I hope these little tips help you in some way, and that you will give this transfer technique a try. Please go watch Cat Kerr's video on the gel press YouTube channel. And that's all. The end.